Hey, this is section 1, day 2, fraction review. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to do specific things with your calculator, make your lives a little bit more easy. So we're just going to jump right in. Okay, so the first thing I want to teach you to do is how to multiply fractions with your calculator. So let's say you had this example right here, 4/5 times 2/9. Okay, well, there's a couple of different ways to do this, and I'll teach you by hand later on, but for right now we're going to teach you with the calculator. So we're going to use that same button that we used in the last lesson. So you're going to type in 4, and then you're going to hit your ABC button, 5, and then for whatever reason, I made a typo, it looks like, you're going to change this plus sign to a multiplication sign. Just ignore that. Okay, so it should be 4ABC 5 times 2ABC 9. Okay, and what that comes out to, of course, it should say in your calculator 8/45. Okay, and the question underneath says, how are you supposed to write your answer? Do you need to convert to an improper fraction? Okay, this one you already have a reduced fraction, so you do not need to convert it to an improper fraction. Okay, so that's how you would multiply the fraction in that case. Okay, let's take a look at some dividing of fractions. Okay, now this one we got 1 2/7, and we're going to divide it by 5/9. So let's go ahead and type it into our calculator. So we're going to type in 1 ABC 2 ABC 7. Then you're going to push your division symbol. Then 5 ABC 9. Okay, what do you guys come up with? Okay, I have on my calculator, it looks like this. It should say 2 and 11/35. Okay, but that mixed number's a little bit messy. I really don't want our answer left like that. I want to turn it into an improper fraction. Remember, improper fractions are where the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay, so this guy is greater. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, so we need to go ahead and leave that answer on there. Push second ABC, push enter. Okay, the answer you should have gotten was 81/35. Okay, simple as that. The calculator makes our life real easy. Alright, we have some you try examples. I want you guys to go ahead and work through these 4 examples. Use your calculator to go ahead and multiply and divide these fractions together. Okay, so take some time to write these examples down. Use the last page of notes to go ahead and use your calculator to solve these problems. Alright, if you went ahead and looked at these, you should have found the first one after you plugged it in your calculator to be 24/49. Your second one should have been 60/7. Third should have been 8/5. And your last one should have been 1/80. Okay, if you missed any of these, go ahead and take a look at your last page of notes, review those, and try them again. I got a little joke for you. I know you'll like it. What do you call a girl with no arms and no legs on a grill? Think about it. Think about it. Patty. You love it. Alright, now we're going to talk a little about converting percents to decimals. This is pretty easy. We're going to use our calculator again. So for some reason I made another typo, so go ahead and change this 54.2 to a 54.3. Go ahead and make that change real quick. So up here in our example 1, we have the example 54.3%, and we want to change that to a decimal. Okay, so what you're going to do is type in 54.3 on your calculator, push second, and then you're going to push the open parenthesis sign with the little percentage sign above it. So second, percentage sign, and what you should come up with is this guy. Okay, so that's what you should have come up with for that guy. So those are pretty straightforward, not too bad at all. Okay, now let's take a look at using the square root button. You're going to use this function a lot during this school year, so it's very important that you get this down. Okay, what a square root is a number that when you multiply it by itself, you get some other number. So, for example, if we have the square root of 36, like we're looking at, what is two numbers multiplied by themselves that equal 36? Well, of course, if you take 6 times 6, you get 36. So the square root of 36 would be 6. The number multiplied by itself equals that number. Okay, so that's the way you do it by hand. If you wanted to use a calculator, you could just push second, then your x squared button on your calculator, 36, or whatever number you want to take the square root of, push enter, and you also get 6. So eventually you'll memorize these, you won't have to use your calculator, but that's just a good way to use your calculator if you would like to. Okay, so that's a little bit about percents to decimals and using the square root button. Now we're going to talk about using exponents. Okay, you guys are going to use these all the time. We're going to have an entire unit over exponents later in the year. But for right now, we'll just learn how to use them on the calculator. So, if you had the exponent 3 to the 4th, what this means is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. The exponent, meaning this guy up here, is just how many times you're multiplying the big number by itself. Okay, so you would multiply 3 by itself 4 times. If you wanted to use it on a calculator, you would type in 3 and then that funny looking caret sign. 3, funny looking caret sign, then 4. Push enter, and that should give you 81. Okay, so 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81, so is 3 to the 4th. Okay, let's take a look at another example. We got this minus 2 to the 5th guy. Okay, this time we're going to type in your parenthesis, minus 2. The minus sign is at the very bottom of your calculator. Close parentheses. Then you're going to push your funny looking caret sign, then 5. And you come out with minus 32. Okay, we got a few you-try questions. You guys are going to convert some fractions into decimals and the like. Alright, so here's some you-tries. We got 8 problems that I want you to look at. Go ahead and use your calculator and all the stuff you learned on the last few pages. If you need to go back and review some of those before you try these you-tries, go ahead and do that. I'll give you a few minutes to look at these, write them down, and take a look at them. Alright, I'm assuming you went ahead and took a look at these guys. Okay, if you go ahead and type in 4 divided by 15 on your calculator, you get 0.266667, but we want to round to the nearest hundredth, so we would have to round to 0.27. Okay, number 2, type in 4 divided by 7 on your calculator. That should give you 0.571. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth, so that gives us 0.57. Excuse me. Alright, let's go ahead and convert each percent into a decimal. Remember, to do that, all you have to type in is your number, 5.9, then second, then your percent sign, and that should give you your decimal, which is 0.059. Okay, next one, 264%. We're going to type in 264 in your calculator. push second, then your percent sign, and that gives you 2.64 as your decimal. Okay, so that converts fraction into decimal and convert percent into decimal. Let's go down here, take a look at these guys. A little bit more challenging, I guess. Okay, let's look at square root of 84. Remember, to find your square root, you have to push in second, then your, or not second, sorry, just your, second square root sign, 84, and that gives you 9.17 after you round it to the nearest hundredth. Okay, the next one's a little bit trickier. When you have minus signs in there like that, you must type in the minus sign first. So you would put minus, second, square root sign, 153, and that should give you minus 12.37. Okay, for your last two, we're looking at exponents. So you would type in 7, caret sign 3. That gives you 343. And the last one, you're going to type in minus 5, caret sign 4, and that should give you minus 625. Okay, make sure you've mastered all of these U-tries right here. If you can do all of those, you should be good to do your homework. Okay, go ahead and fill out your WISC. Thanks, guys.